don't know, drama from the beginning. But anyways, this is what happens in life. Welcome, everybody, to Drama to Dharma. My name is Josie Herndon, and I am looking forward to our show this evening. We have a special guest that I'm going to be bringing up. Her name is Adrienne Stratton, and I've been working with Adrienne for many years in our industry of addiction and recovery. But tonight we're going to talk about her spiritual life that she has and the things that she does on her spiritual path as well. So we're looking forward to that. Now, Drama to Dharma, our topics range every week based on what Gabriel wants. I channel Archangel Gabriel, and I do it in a way where he speaks through me so that it's clearer for you to understand and for me to be able to read questions and multitask while I'm doing this. So I just want to welcome everybody and take this moment to invite the angels and invite God into our conversations tonight so that we can uplift each other. That's the goal of our evening, is to uplift each other. Now, when I asked Gabriel what we were going to talk about this week on Tuesday, as I was putting together the program online, the topic is path of least resistance. And I thought, wow, that is great. What a relief. I mean, it's a weird when, because I really, consciously ask him what our topic is, and he tells me, and there's a reason for that. So today, this morning, usually I'm doing stuff to get ready for whatever the topic is. So this morning he woke me up. We had a really good morning. And he said, now we have to practice path of least resistance. Josie, let's practice path of least resistance all day. Meaning let God take care of it for me, let the angels take care of it for me, so that I can practice what I teach. That's what he said. Practice what you teach by practicing the path of least resistance. So what that meant for me was totally letting go. I've been a lot of stress. There's a lot of stress right now. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving last week. Today is December 3rd. So Christmas and Hanukkah and all the holy days are coming around the corner. There's a lot going on. The Governor Newsom, I'm here in California, says we're going to probably have a blanket stay at home because the COVID tests or COVID cases are going up and the ICUs are filling up. So we're going to be back at stay-at-home orders. And for a lot of people, that's very stressful, because looking at what that means that restaurants can't serve outdoors anymore. That means there's no more waiters for a while. A lot of people might be, back not working. If you have hair salons, they said would close, and nail places, all that stuff. I mean, so many businesses that will have to close for another 3 to 4 weeks. And that's during the Christmas season when most people make a lot of their money, especially stores. There'll be a lot of online shopping, I'm guessing, but there's just a lot going on. And then not to even mention whatever is happening politically. I don't look at the news. I just can't right now. It's too stressful for me. So I just have faith and go with the path of least resistance. For me, the path of least resistance is not to watch the news. And my husband, Jim, can give me the updates if he feels there's something that I really need to know. But I'm trying to stay in alignment with Gabriel and with God and with, trying to be here to help uplift each other, pray for each other, and have people pray for me and my health as well. And so that's what path of least resistance, our conversation tonight, is going to be about. How can we take the path of least resistance when we when we have all these things coming to us? How does that work? So, I mean, I had a schedule packed on the hour. I had appointments today, and I looked at it and I thought, wow, how am I going to get this done? Well, some of them I had to reschedule. I couldn't do all of them. I just booked and booked and booked, and path of least resistance meant cancel some of the appointments. So I did. And then the ones that I went to went very well. I wasn't stressed. And for, the fact that we're closing, I went ahead and made a bunch of appointments and, tried to get as much done today so that if I do have to stay home. Now, so that could be the case, is that you just look at your day and just choose whatever you think is going to be less resistant. If you feel the pull of resistance towards it, or stress, then release that and try to pivot into another direction. So just he's saying there's a lot of pivoting that has to happen. So you're going down a path and then you feel like you're starting to go upstream, or you're going down the river, because path of least resistance is a river. I see a river, where it's just like this. Also it's not a walking path, but another, way of putting it would say to, flow downstream rather than flowing upstream. We talked about this before, rather than swimming upstream. So if you feel like you're starting to go, upstream, then just kind of pivot and start floating and going downstream, whatever that means. And you'll be able to intuitively figure that out if you ask, and you really broaden your intuition and you ask for for those guides and for your intuitive muscles. You just go, let go and go, okay, where's my intuition taking me? We all have it. And we all have it right now, especially because we're hyper vigilant. Gabriel says when we're hyper vigilant, that's where the pandemic fatigue comes in, with hypervigilance. But when we're hypervigilant, we're also hypersensitive, he says, to our intuition. But we may not see it that way. So you might be able to see it as that you're hyper vigilant, meaning you're vigilant and you're hypersensitive. Therefore, you have more connections to your intuition. That's good. And so look at it that way when you're trying to figure out, well, how do I tap into my intuition? Your intuition is your inner self. That's your spirit self. That's your true self, talking about, just giving you the guidance, flowing through, just saying, lead me, let's see where we go. I'm going to let all of this go and I'm going to give it to you. And then I'm just going to be the human that's going to be here and guiding. I'm going to be the human here, that the human, basically conduit for the light, for God, for spirit. And when you ask for that, they will get excited, and then they're just going to start showing you what that means. You can also say, I'd like to see the world through your eyes, Lord. I'd like to see the world through your eyes, angels. I'd like to see the world through the spirit light and eyes, and then you can see the world in a different way, in an intuitive way. And there's a difference between intuition and discernment. So when you ask for either, just know there's a difference. Intuition is following that intuitive path, following your spirit, following what leads you, that is good, that is light, that flows effortlessly. And discernment is when you're actually wanting to discern if there's something, like maybe you're not sure about a situation, or if the place is safe, or if you should go to this store right now, or so if you can ask for discernment around that as well, and then maybe you'll get some answers and clarity about what things you should be doing or not doing right now, that they're telling us we can't do anything, but as humans we must do something. It's not natural to not do anything. And we've been for months in this stay. We've been for months and we're exhausted, even though we sleep a lot and we're home. So, just discern where if you can go, if you feel comfortable going outside and just going for your walks. I have a dear friend who's a colleague. I was talking to him today. I was doing a training with him, and he is high risk because he's diabetic, so he cannot get the COVID. He lives in Los Angeles in the inner city, so he has to stay home. And so I asked him how he's doing, because he's been home, basically since March, but he goes every day now for a walk, a 5-mile walk. And he takes his dog, and he's in the best shape he's been. I said, wow, that's really good. I wish I could say the same for me. I told him, I mean, I pretty much stopped my walks about a month ago and all I've been doing is eating. So he really encouraged me, that, because I've been gaining these COVID pounds that everybody says or whatever, but I'm not judging myself on that either. Gabriel says, we're all doing whatever, however we can, go through this right now. But here's somebody that would normally have to stay home, but he's actually he's just stepped it up and he's exercising by walking, taking his dog out, and going home and staying safe, and just being with his partner, and they whatever his life is. I don't know anything else about his life, but I do know that I that encouraged me. I thought, wow, that's great, and I want to get back into my walking, and and if Gabriel says, whatever feels good to you right now, no judgment. Don't feel like you should be on the scale. Put the scale away if that's a path. If the scale is a path of resistance, put it away. That's what he's been telling me. Don't look at that. Just put the scale away, put, any thoughts away about what you should be eating or what you shouldn't, and it'll naturally flow what you're supposed to be eating and what you're not. We know intuitively what to eat and when. So if it feels like a moment to eat some chocolate, take a bite of chocolate. Have a little chocolate. Don't you have to eat a lot of chocolate? So it's all about proportion. So I'm just thinking about food because right now we're all going to be back at home. At least for me, I know that it was a lot about food when I'm home, cooking, which is great. I cooked a bunch of stuff. And so you can cook healthy if you feel like cooking healthy. If you feel like making, holiday cookies, make holiday cookies, he says. Whatever feels good, raising the vibration. If it's the path of least resistance, do it. If it makes you happy, do it right now. It is so important, he says, to lift our vibration and to be as happy as we can be, even if it's for an hour a day. So we can think about it that way. It's not like we're going to be happy all the time, but if we can muster up, an hour a day of happiness by calling somebody or Zooming with a family member or just, whatever makes you happy, playing with your pets, whatever it is that makes you happy. Find something. Listening to music is always a wonderful way to find happiness and joy. Fun music, uplifting music. Sometimes I put on the music that's just, my goodness. Ugh. I mean, some music can be depressing, but then that tells me, wow, I mean, sometimes that sounds okay. But, other times it's just all about, putting on the disco, we talked about that before when we were, back in March and April and May. I think he talked a lot about disco music back from the 70s. Bring it back, Donna Summers, whatever. Just start dancing at home, just lift your vibration, however you can make yourself happy. And that's what's important. Your relationship with yourself. And this is like in spades, we have to look at ourselves, right? We have no other choice. We are at home by ourselves with maybe a couple of family members and we're all tired of each other. So it's like, let's just look at ourselves and find ways to make ourselves happy, reinvent yourself. If your job keeps closing down, find another one that makes you happy and make it work. There are so many people, he says, so many humans that are actually thriving through these times because they're not stopping. They are just going and they continue to go and they're going to figure it out. And so we can all do that. We can just keep going. And then you can think, well, maybe I can't do this because of whatever, but I've always wanted to do this. So go online, take a class, investigate what it would take to do what it is your dream is. What would it take to make that dream come true? Because we are so close to the intuition and we're so close to that energy flow, manifestations are happening very quickly, he says, very quickly for those of us who are master manifestors, for those of us who know about the law of attraction, for those of us who know, that what you give in the world is what, you receive back. So use those, he says, use those tools and just really go for it, whatever it is that you want. Write it down, look up online, think about it, journal. Are you really where you're supposed to be right now in this age of your life, in this stage of your life? Are you happy? And if you're not, write things down. What would make you happy and make it happen? Because he says, if you look back at your life, you've made a lot of wonderful things happen to your life already in your life. And most of you and all of you, he says, all of us have made wonderful things happen in our life. But right now we feel like everything is stopped and we're stuck. That's not true. We're ready to go on to the next level, he says. So, oh, hi, Jerry. Oh, my goodness. I haven't seen you forever. It's so good to see you. I have heard that a huge astrological shift will be happening between December 21st and December 25th, based on an alignment of planets and moon that hasn't happened in 6,000 years. Are you saying today higher consciousness and manifestations does Gabriel? Well, everything is definitely elevating. I think we had talked about, Gabriel is saying that December 15th pretty much starts the 2021 year, right about that time. And so the last 2 weeks in December are just basically going to shift, get rid of a lot. It's going to, just kind of shed. I guess I'm seeing that just shed everything that's been bubbling up in 2020, whether it's health issues or whatever it is. We're going to feel lightness after that, after the December 25th and right into that. There is a large elevation that's going to be happening with the alignment of the planets. It's happening now already, he says. Everything's happening. So by that point, it'll just be like another burst. But what he says is this is the time for manifestations. And you all have probably noticed that. You've noticed that it goes both ways, he's saying. So when you're putting something out that you want, you're going to get it. If you put something out you don't want, you're going to get it. Right? So if you don't want to be ill, you're going to get it. You don't want to gain weight, you're going to get it. So, so he's like, put what out there, what you want, and just try it and wait, and don't wait. He's like, just do it. Just put it to the universe, what it is that you want. And it'll, more than likely it's going to happen, or part of it will happen, or you'll start moving in that direction anyways. He says, actually, you're going to see that more than likely it's going to happen. I mean, and quickly. Jim had said he wanted a new car. He'd been driving the car he bought a couple years ago that had lots of miles and whatever. And then he got in this car accident 2 weeks ago, totaled the car that he had been complaining about, figuring out how he was going to get into a new car, what car. And he had one cut on his arm, his hand, finger. He had a Band-Aid. His car was totaled. I won't get into more details, but he was fine. The car wasn't fine. He got enough money to get a new car, and now he's driving the car he wanted. A beautiful he was driving a Prius forever. For those who know Jim, he's had like 5 Priuses. So he has a big Prius now. He has a RAV4 deluxe hybrid Prius. So he's excited. And it just happened so quickly and effortlessly. And now he's driving the car that he wanted. Now I'm not saying you're going to get in a car accident over, what it is you want, but, be careful what it is you're looking for. But just know that if you're putting something, a true intention out there, it's going to happen and you're going to be okay. I don't know if that was a good example or not, but that was an example of how quickly that turned around in 2 days and everything was fine. I mean, nothing happened to Jim. He's bulletproof. He's had so much going on this year that he's just like, he's bulletproof, I'm convinced, but, so now he's got his new car, he's cancer free, he's doing good. So, think about that when you're thinking about your manifestations, really, just not that particular story, but just anything, similar in your life that you can start looking at what it is that you want. Okay. Does Gabriel have any more info on this? Oh, I think we answered some of that. 1212, they say, is another big portal. What do we do to prepare for this? Well, Gabriel says, okay, this is basically what he's saying. December is a holy month, and it is a month full of action. If we're talking astrological action, December is a lot of astrological action, and there's just going to be portals and pockets. And, if you have a telescope, you just have to look up, you can see Mars just with a clear eye. Venus is out there. I mean, all the planets are lined up all around you. He says, all you have to do is go outside and look. They're all there. And you're going to watch them line up and you're going to watch them shift around. So is it happening? Yes. Just go outside and look up at the sky and feel it and embrace it. So when there's an open portal day, like 12/12, which is definitely angel hour, right? Angel hour, 12/12, 2020, 12/12, 2020. Awesome day. Beautiful day. Thank the Lord for that day, he says. It's going to be amazing. No matter what you see on the news or what people are doing, just be grateful that day that you're breathing and that you're happy and that you're alive. Find a way to just get into that vortex of joy and manifestation. Because if not, you can easily go backwards. That's the only downfall of days like that, he says. In portals, you go forward, you go upwards, or heaven forbid, it's a downer day for you and you go backwards. So, then you really have to hold on, he says. So, just be as happy as you can. Put out all the best intentions for yourself and for others. He says it's a boomerang effect days. Those type of portal days are boomerang. They're big mirror days. Whatever you put out comes back to you in spades. So he says it's not the day to gossip. No judging. Judgment is not a thing ever, but particular on those days, right? Because you're going to see it come back to you immediately, whatever it is you put out. So if you put love and joy out, you're going to get love and joy back. If you shine your light's going to come back. Okay? And then the opposite of that. We don't have to get into that. But that's what he says about 12-12. Be prepared for all of it to come back to you, whatever you put out to the universe. And so highly recommending put out good. All the goodness you can do. All the goodness you could feel. Not even do for the world. If you're at home, feel. Get to that feeling of joy and love and light. Like they say, the chiefs, the Native American chiefs, right? And the teepee. Gabriel's been telling me this for ever, but I've been writing the book. Go into your teepee, Josie. Go into your teepee. That's when I'm alone, and that's when I do my silence, and that's when I do my prayers, and that's when I do my dancing, and that's when I do that stuff. Perfect day for that, to go into your teepee. You're going to be in your teepee anyways, but just, make it a sacred day for yourself, he says. That's a very good question. Thank you for that, Debbie. Good one, Jerry. Yes. Reinventing. Hi, Jody. I can't see you because there you are. Okay. Hey. Reinventing health remedies and healing. Reinventing health remedies and healing. He says, everything that's new is old. It's happened before. In your mind, you might be reinventing something, but as far as remedies go back to the old and bring it back to the new, he's saying. So remedies for health issues, he's encouraging you to look at old remedies, to look at things that your mother would have told you to do for your health, your grandmother, go back to those and bring them forward into your life right now because they knew something. Do reading on Eastern medicine, he says, old medicine, and bring it back because it's real. And so, yes, very good question. That's healing. They bring the old into the new, he's saying, because the new is a little questionable right now when we talk about science, he says. There's a lot going on with research and different things and stuff like that. So he's just saying there's a lot of that going on. But really, for true health right now, keep it simple and bring it back. I've been ill these last few months, as you guys know, and I've got this lung issue and I've got this and that and everything else, right? So I take melatonin to help me sleep. I, do whatever to, I've got my machine on. I've got all my little things, my cough syrup in case. I've just started that way. You should see my nightstand. Ridiculous. Ugh. I am a grandma though, so it's okay. But either way, last night I said, I don't want any of that. I said, Gabriel, I just want to sleep. I just want to be in alignment with you. I slept perfectly fine for 6 hours without anything, just a little sip of water at night. And I had been taking like little things to help me sleep. Old versus, old will become new. What healed us before will heal us again, he says. Oh, hi, Sue. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining our group. It says, I like your logo. I love it. It says, my dad is my guardian angel. My dad is my guardian angel as well. He's been my guardian angel since I was 10 years old. So let's see. Sue DeVoy Patty. I hope I said that correctly. I'm not happy and need happiness again. Well, that's the first step right there, right? To anything is admitting where you're at. Admitting where you're at, just saying you're not happy is a huge step. Congratulations. Because most people are just like, you know, what is, whatever. It's what I want happiness again. That's the first step. Yes, you want happiness again. So just go, I am happy. I am happy. My daddy wants me to be happy. I'm his baby. Laugh with him. Remember your laughter with him. He's there with you, like you said. And so he's going like, come on, Sue baby, let's do this. I want to see that laugh. I want to see that smile in your face. I want to see your eyes. He has to see your eyes light up. You can do that. I know you can. Thank you for that comment. It's beautiful. Okay, Jim's saying, be careful, everyone. Yeah. Yeah, be careful. Now, Jim's birthday is on 12/15, so it's going to be a good week there. And then Jerry says, good reminder regarding the boomerang. Jody, thank you for the old remedy system. Right on point. Yep. Hi, Louisa. I love seeing you. Let's see. Louisa's saying, I do a whole garlic mashed and honey. A whole garlic mashed and honey. Then I drink 2/3 cup of fresh lime juice every morning, back to basic. Wow. That sounds great. I'm sure that Luis and I have talked about our health, and ours is pretty similar. We kind of have the same things going on. So I am going to try that. So we do, let's see, I do a whole garlic. That's a lot of garlic, mashed up with honey. Okay. And then I drink 2/3 cup. So you just eat that garlic with honey. All right. Just a couple spoonfuls of garlic and honey, just down it. And then you chase it with a drink of 2/3 cup of fresh lime juice every morning. Very good. Okay. So you go for the mashed garlic and honey, and you just down it, and then you chase it with lime. See, that's the healthy margarita. No. Or tequila, whatever you do with the lime after chaser. So rather than that, we're going to do whole garlic mashed with honey, and that is Louisa's remedy for her health, and I love it. Thank you for sharing that. That's her old, and that's what her grandmother taught her, and she's sharing it with us. Thank you so much, Louisa. Wow. Okay, Jody loved that too. He's going to try that, and I love that. Okay, so it's about that time, guys. It's 7:28. I usually go right at 7:30 with our guest. So I am going to just share a couple things, and then I'm going to bring Adrienne on. I'd like to invite everybody to go to join Try Angels, my Facebook group, if you haven't. And I'm going to be the first to admit right now that I have not been on my Facebook group for a little bit because I just haven't. But I'm going to again. I was really good about it for a while, and then I just kind of, started doing other things, I guess. But I'm going to go back to it, and I hope you guys do it. It's basically an angel group where we can post beautiful pictures and encourage each other. And I encourage everybody to just, that's the place where we can put our spiritual posts and things like that. Just simple, nice posts. Okay, one more question from Jerry. During this pandemic and holiday time, I am also bringing back some old traditions, such as sending holiday cards by mail and cherishing everyone that can be physically close. This pandemic has redefined family, where multi-generations are living under one roof in huge numbers. Wow, that's very true. Very true. And I love that idea. And thank you for sharing that, Jerry. I think it's a great idea. I have boxes of cards that some years I don't even send out. So if you guys have Christmas cards or holiday cards, if not, make some. That's even better. If you can make yours, that would be amazing. Everybody would love that. Go to Michael's and buy a bunch of arts and crafts stuff and make cards. But if you're not crafty, buy cards and handwrite them and send them. I think the last few years I know I have just been sending like things. I've been sending email cards and stuff like that. So a little, holiday memes on my text, Merry Christmas things. That's what I've been doing the last few years. So I think that it's a great idea to just make it personal. We all need that little personal touch right now because we don't have that personal touch we're used to. We're not hugging. We're not, just like, if you see somebody you normally would just give a hug. We're not doing all of that right now. So anything personal we're going to soak it up like, dry hair with cream rinse or something. So just send the love. Send the love. Thank you. And cherish everybody. And as far as the multi-generations are living under one roof. What a wonderful, thing for the families to be able to be close together. But yet again, there's a lot going on with those families, and they're growing, actually. The ones who are living together are actually growing together in love, even though it might seem like bickering at times and loud and crazy and all that. But, you all need each other, and you're a tribe. So it's beautiful right now during these holidays that you could actually, because there's so many people that can't be with their loved ones, that can't be with their grandchildren, that can't be with. So when you're in a crowded house and thinking, oh my goodness, just turn that around and pivot and say, you know what, I am so grateful that I'm here with my loved ones. Because I haven't seen two of my grandsons since last December. It's been a whole year. I can't even hardly talk about it. It makes me so sad. But I'll see them, soon. So cherish that time together if you're all together, because not everybody can be with their loved ones right now, like hugging them and fighting with them and, fighting over the cereal and whatever it is. It's fighting over what you're going to watch on TV, all that. Cherish it. Cherish it. That's what Gabriel's saying. Cherish it. It's all part of family. All right. So we are going to bring up Adrienne Stratton, my dear guest and friend of many, many years. Hi, Adrienne.
Hi, how are you?
I'm sorry, I'm bringing up Adrienne so that I can stop crying. No, I just thought about my grandsons, and boy, that just kind of got me. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well.
Yeah,
and I want to say thank you, Josie, and thank you, Gabriel, for holding this space and making this possible.
Yes, you're very welcome. Now, Adrienne and I go back about 20 years, I'd say.
Yeah,
exactly. I think it's exactly 20 years, right? When I was in Hammett and you were starting a program out with Mickey Troxel. I think that's the first time we met. Yeah.
Right.
Right. That was a long time ago. I mean, because I had to think about it. It's like, wow, that's been a long time. And our paths have been going along the same path, but different, it's like, I feel like we've been doing the same things, but in different circles. You're in Orange County. I'm out here in the desert. And then we see each other at conferences like many of us do. And, you're a marketing consultant, you're an executive, a CEO, you've owned programs like I've done. So we have a lot of similar experience in our industry. Right. But when I think you texted me a couple weeks ago and said, hey, I heard that you're doing stuff with Gabriel, and I've got my spiritual, things that I do, and how do you integrate it in with work? And really, there's no way to integrate it in with work. It's all integrated with us anyways. Mm-hmm. So what we talked about is, how are you going to come out of the closet with, with your spiritual work?
Right.
Because I had to do that. I'm talking to my friends and colleagues, and I'm like, oh, and you what with the angels? When do you do that? So, tell us about your website and what it is. I'm just curious about what it is you've been doing, who your guides are. I know right now they're just excited to talk, and so are mine. So share with us, what is your website about, and what is your spiritual path about? ravenmessages.com. Share with us.
Well, thank you so much. So as far as a spiritual path, spiritual life is concerned, I have actually been on it since a child. Mm-hmm. And without going into a whole lot of details, but I had an awareness way back when of spirits, of angels, and dad being a doctor and mom, being a doctor's wife. It was kind of like, no, that's just a dream. You didn't see anything. And so all of that was discounted. And throughout my life, I did a lot of different things, trying to find that connection again, trying to find that path and a way to stay on that path. I want to comment because it seems timely. as a teenager, as going through the 60s, I did a lot of heavy research with psychedelics looking for God.
Okay. So you have experience with recovery, the work that we do.
Right,
Yeah.
right. You know, and so, and that was fine. But what I found in retrospect was that that was kind of going in through the back door. And so while certainly I became aware and opened up much more, I could not sustain that without further drug use. And as my life was progressing, that just was not possible. So many things have happened, you know. I was thinking about this earlier today that, you know, if you're aware, if you're lucky, if you're conscious, you know, we become aware of various teachers on our path. And when I look over mine, I have been blessed with many. And most notably on my website, if you look at community resources, I make reference to Debbie Hamilton and Jade Wa'o'o, and both of them, as well as others, you know, have been so instrumental in encouraging, in challenging, in making suggestions, and getting back to this place of showing me and teaching me about self-love. And the spiritual path for me and Raven Messages started deeply with that self-love. And as the self-love has grown, what I have found is that many things opened. So I was kind of reflecting on the topic that Gabriel chose, and I was thinking about paths. And you know, the fact is that there are many. So yeah. So yeah. So Raven
all pretty much lead to the same message, I found.
Indeed. Yeah.
Because they're coming really from the same place. You know, they're coming from the light. They're coming from our. So I've noticed that the messages all, you know, we usually will all agree on it because it's coming from that place. So that's really cool, because it's almost like we confirm each other. Before you got on the show, it's like, okay, you know, we're good, that our guides and angels are really excited because they're going to get to speak through their humans. And we're their humans, you know, that help share their message, however that is, when we're able to do that. So Raven Messages would be similar then, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's really devoted to healing and you know, inspiration, motivation, and wellness. You know, when you get into it, it takes a look at a wide variety of the different kinds of tools that, you know, that I've learned how to use over the years to read energy.
Okay.
And so that's a lot of what I do, whether it is through intuitive readings, using cards, you know, tarot cards, or you know, using pendulums, using a variety of different things, as well as mediumship.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about mediumship, right?
Yeah. So everything is energy.
Everything's energy. Yeah.
Everything is, and you know, you made or Gabriel made some references earlier about raising one's vibration. And you know, as an intuitive, when I'm working with people, you know, raising my vibration is a good majority of the work that I'm called upon to do. And I do that with the assistance of the angels, with my raven, with my wolf, with my chiefs, all of my helpers and Indians as well.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So the topic tonight is path of least resistance. What would you like to share with us on how you would talk to one of your clients, or if they said, how would we take the path of least resistance? What would you say?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of the law of attraction as well.
Yeah.
And so in doing readings sometimes, or coaching, people have blocks. They will talk about behaviors that are repeating and what have you, and it becomes important then to take a look at what we are pushing up against, and learning how to stay away from the fight. This is what I have found. I have found that self-love, self-forgiveness, self-love is what really opens up one to the things that are new, to the things that are beneficial, to the things that are going to push you forward. As well as you were kind of talking about the mental process and negative, like, self-talk. And there's a lot to say about that as well, because that's can be a very big stumbling area as well.
Yes.
And so learning how to not only give, but how to receive, how to stay open.
Very good.
For that love, for that light, for that guidance.
Sometimes that's even more difficult, isn't it, to actually sit there and receive love?
Absolutely.
There are a lot of clinical exercises around that where, it's like, just allow somebody to say, it took me years to just, be able to embrace compliments, because I'd always come up with an excuse. If somebody said something, oh, well, this, until I finally learned, thank you. It almost hurts to listen to it, feel it, and just thank you. Yeah. It's almost counterintuitive, because we have to love ourselves and accept that love, to law. That's very important. Very important. That's a great point.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. To do that, just to sit there and, it's easier to hear somebody say negative things, because then you can just get back into your routine, than to have somebody sit there and actually say positive things to you, and you're just like, thank you. Yeah. It's so true. It's so very, very true. And that's from the most humblest, I'm talking about, just from a true humble place, is, to embrace that love that's being given to you. That's a very special place to be.
It is. A lot of times people have different opinions also on the ego, and whether or not one should just completely kill it, get rid of it. And I say no. No. We live here on planet Earth. We are human beings. We're flesh and blood, and we have to have love and acceptance for that. And and as we're able to do that and embrace our total selves, then again, like I said, we're able to receive, the love and guidance from spirit.
Yes, because ego. When I first started writing the book that I'm yet to finish, but Gabriel says everything's perfect timing, because now with these new changes, the book's going to have some changes in it. I was writing, and I put in there, why me? Why am I writing this? Why am I doing this? This was a couple of years ago. And he says, why not you? He says, that's your ego asking that question.
Right.
That's the ego. So the ego is not necessarily the boasting. The ego is our doubt, because we're afraid of getting embarrassed, or that we're whatever it is.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I thought that was interesting. I'm like, how can that be my ego? I'm just sitting there saying, why me? Or why not you? Why don't you think it's you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So in that ego is the analytical mind as well. And, when we're talking about the spiritual realm and we're talking about energy and we're talking about intuition, it's like, the intellect, the analytical mind really needs to be, it needs to be managed and controlled. And that's within our power to do that, especially to be effective, as I have found anyhow, to be effective when working with others,
Right.
in this realm.
Well,
So,
being raised in a highly educated home, you kind of know that from firsthand then by, your father being a scientist or a medical doctor and knowing, that that's an analytical mind. So he'd be
yeah,
like, this doesn't make sense. Well, it doesn't have to make sense. Just leave that alone and feel it. And you'd be like,
absolutely.
what? Oh no. No, I'm going back to work.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
that was your first, I'm sure, experience with the analytical mind versus, just that spiritual intuition. So
Sure.
that's something you were raised with. That's incredible.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, Very good. Well,
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you reached out to me and that, you just put your new website together and you're going to be doing more of what you're being called to do and what you've been doing anyways your whole life. Right?
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty
And,
exciting. So where do you see it going from here as far
well,
as that?
I'm getting ready to make more of a push on the internet, for marketing myself and the services that I provide,
Good.
and looking forward to hopefully even doing some events, some of the fairs, holistic fairs,
Oh,
and
that's nice.
things of that sort.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
just being with your people and sharing your gifts and, with the light. Yeah.
yeah,
With
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely,
that's
yeah.
wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Is there anything else you want to share with us or that would like to?
Well, you know me. I mean, I can talk and talk and talk.
Yeah, I know. I
But
know.
yeah, if the listeners take a look at my website, you'll get a good feel for who I am, for what I do. But I believe that we're called. All of us are called,
Always, we all have.
to be of service to one another. I
Mhm.
think what the difference is, some people are more awake, than others. That stream of consciousness is wider, brighter maybe, but everyone has that ability.
Oh, Gabriel says we all have, the same ability. We have the
Yeah,
ability. There are days when we're, might be down and out, and there's days when we're happy, and we all have that ability energetically to be in either spot, right? So it is important for us to help uplift each other and to embrace our true self of who we
yeah.
are, and remember who we are is very important. Well, I'm excited for you. Now, one more question. How's it been going for you these last few months during the pandemic? Have you been home? Has this helped all of this, manifest itself because you've been home? You haven't been out on the road so busy. Has that been helping with your spiritual goals and your
Yeah,
website, everything you're doing?
now you talked about manifestation,
Mhm.
and so I have had plenty time to work on that and set some goals. And I've seen some things happen. Like I didn't know, about the opportunity to be on your show. So that
Right, right.
kind of,
And then with Debbie, the things she's doing, right? Yeah, there's
yeah,
a lot of
just
exciting things.
kind of part of it.
Oh, I
But
appreciate that.
yeah.
Glad you
So
reached out to me.
lots of different things, I believe are coming up, and I'm really, I'm excited. I'm grateful.
Very good.
That is one thing that I did want to talk about for a
Okay,
moment.
sure.
And that is about not only stepping in, but spending a lot of time in the place or space of gratitude and appreciation.
Mhm,
And the more that I do that,
mhm.
the faster and easier my manifestations are.
Yes.
the way my life changes.
And would you consider that a path of least resistance?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah,
path of least
yeah,
resistance tool. That's a good pivot, right? When
absolutely.
feel like we're going against the stream and everything's pushing up against us, and Gabriel talked about pivoting when we feel that way to the path of least resistance. Gratitude can take us there very quickly if we can then start thinking about what we're grateful for versus what we're pushing up against.
Yeah.
I have a Facebook user. I don't always get to see who it is. It doesn't say, but it says, any quick tips on law of attraction? Sometimes I feel I can't really concentrate
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
concentrate. Any
Well,
tips?
if you want me to respond,
You can respond and I'll respond. Sure. Yeah.
pay attention to self-talk. Pay
Mhm.
attention to what feels good. You know,
Oh, it's Julie. It's Julie.
okay,
Thank you,
yeah,
Julie. Yep.
hi, Julie, yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's one of Chelsea's friends she grew up with in school.
oh, good, yeah, yeah. So yeah, just paying attention to what feels good and what doesn't feel good, and go with what feels good, and take action so that those steps are supported, because
Yes.
they are
Yeah.
supported anyway.
And Julie is amazing. She's so beautiful, and she has a husband and 5 children. And she
Mm,
loves being home, and she's a homemaker with her children, and her husband works and support. They're just a beautiful family. And I've seen her with her kids. I mean, she is a mother extraordinaire. So Julie, you definitely, I love what you do with your family and with your children, and they're so blessed to have you, but you're probably thinking about, well, what can I don't know what it is, but just, again, that self-love and the manifestations, whatever it is, just put it out there and just think about it, dream about it, and like you said, just, keep that happiness and joy while you're thinking about it. It's going to be important this month of December
mhm,
because it's
mhm.
going to be time for presents, Gabriel says.
Yeah.
So just put it out there and you will definitely get it. Now, Wineka Molin Gearing, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. Her question is, how do you find your spiritual guide? How do you
Mhm.
find your guide?
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, certainly it was through deep meditation
Mhm.
and coming to a place in that meditation, in that visualization, and asking for help, asking for the spirit guides to make themselves present,
Mhm.
and then entering into, I don't want to use the word contract, but an agreement
Agreement.
with them.
That's right.
And so the first guides were different than the guides that I have now. So,
Yep, that's about how I found it too. I just, like you said, through teachers over my life, it seems like would bring me up to closer until when Gabriel and I connected. But I started doing free writing. I did ask, and I asked questions my whole life. Gabriel says I've been asking questions since I was 4 years old. I didn't really buy into all the religious stuff, although I love God. Of course, I love Jesus. I mean, I was raised such a strong Christian, but I would always ask questions. And so then I would ask, I love the angels. And so you just, wherever it is that you're feeling that, ask them that, well, what you do right now, he says, it's like, just ask, just say, I'm here. Who are you? What
yeah.
do you want? I know you're here. You're me. We're together. Look at yourself in the mirror, he says, and you'll see them in your
Mhm.
eyes. And then the agreement is true. Once I started writing the book, I came up with this agreement that it was just he and I. It's just, well, for me, it's Gabriel. I just only work with Gabriel, and Gabriel says that he is with everybody. So it's and I know that. So he's with everybody, and he guides so many, and he's just, if you're here, he's guiding you, he says. And my focus is to and the other archangels as well, but primarily Gabriel for me. But Gabriel says he's all, he's he just loves that, you ask that question. So listen to your spirit, listen to your heart. And the fact that you even ask that question, you're going to be getting the answers in your sleep tonight, he says. So that's very good because you asked. It's all about asking and inviting them in.
Yeah.
If they don't feel welcome, they're not, or if you're not in the, the zone, they're just going to wait there patiently. They're not going to, push it, but they're not also going to intrude wherever they're not invited. Have you found that, Adrienne?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Winnica says, thank you both. Well, that was a beautiful question. And I certainly appreciate that. And Julie says, you have me crying over here. Thank you. She put a bunch of hearts. She is a sweetheart. I mean, I've known all these girls since they were in junior high. So, and it's wonderful to see them becoming these beautiful women and having their families and children. And I just love it.
Yeah.
And it's such an honor to be able to witness that and mentor whenever I can. I think it's great. All right.
Absolutely. Well, one of the other things that I thought about real quick was in communicating with angels and guides and spirit. You can also set boundaries with them and let them know. Yeah, let them know that this is not a good time, and I have to do that myself.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Especially, at nighttime, sometimes it's like, I need to sleep.
Gabriel's very gentle. We have this agreement that because, especially the way I was raised, so Christian, that everything is very gentle. I almost feel him tiptoeing around me, in a loving way, and not all the time, but sometimes, but you're right, energetically, he knows when I'm like ready to roll, or, when I'm, whatever. They're all there for you whenever you're ready for them. So yeah. And that's a good point, especially if you feel several entities, then definitely boundaries. That was the agreement, was the boundary that I set in the beginning, that I didn't want to have anything. Because once you become open to that, then all kinds of stuff can come your way. So you do have to set boundaries and kind of have your intention of what you want. Definitely. It's very important not to just like be open. Yeah. Because then that can get really, crazy times. Crazy times. So that's a very good point. Well, thank you so much. We are down to our last 3 minutes, and I'm going to read some more of these comments we have. Let's see. Debbie's asking, can she do an energy session for us as a collective? Also, we have a question from the audience. I think she might have already put that up. Let go and let God. Jody is saying, absolutely. Great advice. Oh, that was our question. Thank you so much for that wonderful question. And Gabriel gets around, Jody says. He sure does. He gets around. He gets around town. And he loves to dance and have fun, he said. So whenever there's a high vibration, you just know Gabriel's there, he says. So, he's also there when you need the compassion and the love as well. And I love you very much, Jody. Thank you so much for that. And I don't know that we have 2 more minutes. I don't know if there's time to do an energy collective, but you could maybe just explain what that means for our audience.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. An energy. What was the question? It was about doing an
energy session for us all as a collective.
Well, I'm not really certain. All that I could really say is that the energy that shines through me shines through all of us, and in taking the time to communicate with all of us and with nature and with the universe, those are steps you can take to raise your own vibration.
And to connect in with the energy of those that have the same vibration. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
that's all I can offer.
That's right. And Gabriel says, collectively, let's all have an intention of love. Collectively, we can all have an intention of light, of joy. And then we will connect together in the golden thread of life, of light. And if we all picture ourselves in a collective light together, then so shall it be. And a collective love together, then so shall it be. And he says that that's,
Nice.
you know, his take on the collective. He loves it, and he loves you. Thank you, and our audience for joining us. Thank you, Adrienne, for coming on with us tonight and sharing your journey and your experience. And to those who joined us, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you next Thursday again at 7 o'clock for Drama to Dharma. Thank my sponsors, Addiction Therapeutic Services, and much love to you and light until next week. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.